We have partnered with a world-renowned RF designer. They have looked at our network, they've looked at what's the most efficient placement and the best location for these towers. The design that we have is so solid.
Being able to place your network where you have designed your network means that the customer will have faster data, the customer will communicate better, which is ultimately what the goal should be.
We are ready. Turn us on.
School prayer sessions over an alleged demonic schoolyard game. An electronically monitored murder suspect shot and killed in Pinewood. Long Island MP Loretta Butler Turner calls the government's youth employment plan hypocritical. Plus, a below-average hurricane season begins next Monday. We've got those stories and more coming up tonight. I'm Dana Smith, and NV12 starts right now. The rapid circulation of a game believed to summon a Mexican demon has pastors making their way to several high schools around the country. The Charlie Charlie Challenge has become very popular on social media over the past few weeks and has been played by thousands of young people after a number of videos purported to show supernatural events. Tonight, our Kyle Joaquin takes a look into the craze that has spooked many around the world and one school's response to it.
I'm standing here on the premises of the Anatol Rogers High School. Around 6 this morning, several pastors came here to say a prayer for the school after students were reportedly engaged in what is believed to be a demonic game known as Charlie.
Charlie, Charlie, should we be afraid? Charlie, Charlie, should we be... Ooh. Ooh.
We've heard of the Ouija board and Bloody Mary, popular games believed to open the portal to the dark side. But this latest game, believed to connect players to a Mexican demon known as Charlie, has many parents and children worried, upset, or afraid. In the game, players take a sheet of paper and draw a cross. In 2 boxes, you write yes, and in the other 2, you write no. One pencil is then placed along one line, and the other is placed on top either horizontally or vertically. The players then say Charlie twice, asks if he's there, and then asks a question. After a few times, the top pencil may move, which is believed to be the signal that Charlie is responding. It is said that when the pencil moves, the players usually run off, leaving a portal open for strange things to happen. The game has become very popular on social media, with players sharing it through the hashtag #CharlieCharlieChallenge. But somehow the game has found its way in Bahamian high schools, with several now calling on pastors to pray special prayers over the schools. One of them is Anatol Rogers High School along Faith Avenue. Early this morning around 6, about 20 ministers and pastors were brought in to pray over various corners of the school. School guidance counselor Samantha Francis Wells.
Not just finding out what they were playing, but finding out that this is a demonic game, and that a lot of them were feeling very fearful because some of them who weren't playing the game, they were onlookers, just looking and experiencing what the other counterparts were playing. And at the end of it all, some of them, when they went home, some of them were saying that they felt that they couldn't sleep at night.
The letter sent out to pastors from the school was placed online Thursday, saying, "It has come to our knowledge that our students are summoning demons through a spirit called Charlie, which is a Mexican demon." According to Wells, students played the game on various parts of the school's campus, including classrooms and bathrooms. But according to science, there is a logical explanation for why the pencils move in the Charlie Charlie Challenge. Scientists say the combination of gravity, friction, and the position of the balanced pencil allow the slightest vibration or wind movement to move the pencil. However, now that students are playing the game in schools, Director of Youth K. Darren Turnquest questions what other kind of activities are students being involved in that adults never know about.
In a discussion with some youth leaders who, came and they said, "Director, this is this and this is that," and I said, this is the part of what we are seeing as relates to what our young people are being exposed to through the internet, through their cell phones. The question that I have in my mind is, how much is going on that we're not exposed to, we're not seeing?
Turnquest said the situation should be used as an opportunity for parents and school officials to talk to students.
So this is perfect time. You know, you want to talk about Charlie? Let's talk about, that's one thing that you've had some exposure to in the last 4 weeks. Tell me some other things that's been going on and how that's made you feel. How do you think that's different from what you've been taught and what you know as a Bahamian youth? And let's peel back some layers there.
But with games like Ouija becoming so popular that they create box office hits.
Spirits here, we call to you. Can you show us a sign?
And the Charlie Charlie Challenge gaining a whole lot of popularity, who knows when we will see the end of such games. But for now, though, Frances Wells says she wouldn't encourage anyone to play the game, as she says there is nothing good about it.
Definitely not to play this game, because there's nothing good about it. You know, the Bible tells us that the plan of the enemy is to come to kill, to steal and destroy, and our children are our heritage.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
A 31-year-old murder suspect who was being electronically monitored is now the country's latest murder victim. Police say gunmen shot Merritt Eugene Forbes outside his Pinewood Gardens home around 6 p.m. yesterday before fleeing the scene in a truck. Forbes was rushed to hospital where he died a short time later. Police returned to the murder scene today to speak with concerned residents. Vani Toot reports.
White flowers and blood-soaked sand mark the spot where a 31-year-old murder suspect was gunned down outside his home on Chestnut Street in Pinewood Gardens last evening. Head of the Central Detective Unit, Chief Superintendent Paul Roll, says the man who was released from Her Majesty's prisons in November was repairing his car when he was shot multiple times.
What we know is that he was doing some repair work to his vehicle when persons pulled up, and what we believe is either a dark-colored truck or a Jeep. One of the males exited prior to exiting, began discharging shots at the victim.
Roll says the victim, identified as 31-year-old Merritt Eugene Forbes, tried to run away, but he didn't get far.
As he tried to get away from him, one of these men exited the vehicle and discharged several additional shots at the victim before they made good their escape out of the Pinewood Gardens area.
EMS personnel were called to the scene and transported Forbes to Princess Margaret Hospital, where he died minutes later. The CDU chief says Forbes, who was charged with murder, was being electronically monitored following his release from prison late last year. Forbes and 3 other men were arraigned before Magistrate Janine Wish Gomez for the May 7, 2010 shooting death of 17-year-old Berkeley Miller. Magistrate Darren Troll Davis dismissed the case in August 2011 after it had been before his court for 15 months and witnesses repeatedly failed to appear. However, prosecutors reinstated the murder charge against the 4 men a day later. One day after Forbes' murder, a team of police officers went from door to door on Chestnut Street speaking with residents. Roll says investigations continue into the country's 62nd murder for the year.
Are following some leads in regards to that. Nothing significant at this time, but we appeal to persons who would have any information on that to reach out to us.
NB12 visited the victim's home today. However, we understand his parents were at the morgue positively identifying his body. Now, neighbors did not want to speak on camera, but said he was a nice and respectful person. Reporting for NB12, I'm Vani Toot.
As homicide detectives investigate this latest killing, the CDU chief says police are also questioning 2 suspects in connection with the recent murders of 44-year-old contractor Trevor Smith and Georgette Ramin. Smith, who is the son of prominent pastor and contractor Lloyd Smith, had just pulled up outside an apartment complex on Emmanuel Drive off Soldier Road on Tuesday morning when gunmen robbed him of his jewelry and cash and then shot him multiple times. His body was found slumped behind the steering wheel of his white truck.
The matter with the Smith murder in Emmanuel Way, we have a suspect in custody for that. We are dealing with that right now. He was arrested last night.
Roll says police are searching for 1 or 2 more suspects in that case. He says they also made an arrest following Tuesday night's murder of Georgette Ramin, who was shot in the face outside her home and died in her mother's arms.
We have a suspect in custody with that. So those two we have suspects in custody.
Long Island MP Loretta Butler Turner said it's hypocritical of the Christie administration to launch a new apprenticeship program to tackle youth unemployment, considering the heavy criticism the PLP launched at the Ingham administration for its 52-week job program. Butler Turner noted the similarities between the initiatives and also voiced concerns about Urban Renewal's involvement with the multi-million-dollar plans, given the controversy surrounding Urban Renewal and its funding.
It's just too fresh in our minds to not remember all the ridicule we got politically with regards to this. And this has been almost a chant in the House of Parliament that the FNM was using this as a political tool, a political ploy. At the end of the day, once they got into office, they realized that the persons that were employed in this program, there were no criteria as to what their political affiliation was. It was truly about getting young people to work. So in terms of what the PLP has done, in terms of what they're about to do, they are probably the biggest hypocrites in terms of, what they're now doing.
The Prime Minister said $20 million will be allocated to address youth unemployment in conjunction with Urban Renewal. He said government will initiate an apprenticeship program in partnership with the private sector, where employers will be incentivized through a wage subsidy to employ young persons. Well, Butler Turner noted this idea is similar to the FNM's 52-week job training program, which the PLP had slammed as poorly devised and a ploy to get votes.
The PLP is totally disorganized. I'm on the record as saying that, they tend to govern in an ad hoc fashion. There doesn't seem to be any follow-through, no true leadership. But at the end of the day, what we've got to do is realize that Bahamians are the ones that have hurt because of this immature approach that they took to a very, very good program, one that had measurable results, because we were actually getting people on the job and learning. So they're very hypocritical in this regard.
Butler Turner, who served as State Minister of Social Services in the last government and had a role in leading the Ingham administration's jobs program, also questioned Urban Renewal's involvement. She said the country has yet to get an accurate accounting of Urban Renewal's spending, and she pointed to that controversial Auditor General's report, which said Urban Renewal's small home repairs program paid money for work that was either incomplete or never done.
The challenge that I have with this falling under the Urban Renewal, the umbrella of Urban Renewal, is the fact that we, to this day, with all of the funds that have been allocated to Urban Renewal since 2012, 2013, we have not had an accurate accounting of it. The Auditor General's latest report clearly indicated that monies have been paid out of Urban Renewal for which work has not been done. My concern with this iteration of the apprenticeship program clearly is, why is it falling within the purview of Urban Renewal, which has proven over the last 3 years that it has not had any measurable success or any transparency or accountability with regards to the funds that have been placed in that portfolio.